In 2026, China quietly put something on the market that the rest of the world was not ready for. Female robots that are 92% human. Not metal skeletons with plastic faces. Not theme park animatronics. We are talking about machines with warm skin, real hair, eyes that track your movement, and faces, music that shift and react the way a living person's face does. They are already sitting behind reception desks. They are already working in hospitals and hotels. They are already greeting visitors in government buildings. And the people walking up to them have no clue they are talking to something built in a factory. China has produced music. 5 female robots that are so convincing, so eerily close to real, that people who have stood face to face with them say it stopped them cold. Today, we are counting through all 5, starting from the one that started everything, and ending at the one that changed the game entirely. If you enjoy videos like this, music, please hit the like button right now before we dive in. It genuinely takes a massive amount of work to put these together, and every single like helps us keep going. And if you want to see more videos on the wildest things happening in tech right now, hit subscribe so you never miss what is coming next. Let us get into it. The one sitting at the top of this list does something so subtle, so perfectly human, that your brain stops questioning what it is looking at. But to appreciate how far this technology has come, you need to see where the journey began. 5. Every story has an origin point. Music, and for China's push toward hyper-realistic female robots, that point arrived in 2016, music, inside a university lab. A small research team at the University of Science and Technology of China created a robot they named Jia Jia. This was not a massive corporation pouring billions into a secret division. This was a group of academics, music, working with the budget and tools they had on hand, and yet what they produced made the entire country stop and pay attention. Jia Jia had a soft, gentle face shaped after a young Chinese woman. She could sustain an actual conversation, not just repeat canned phrases. Depending on what you said to her, her music face would shift into different expressions. She would lock eyes with you, music, and reply in a manner that for brief moments felt indistinguishable from talking to a real person. The moment that put her on the map everywhere was a short interview clip that exploded online. The interviewer got too close, and Jia Jia responded with, "Music, a calm but firm boundary." She told him not to stand so near because it made her uncomfortable. That reply did not sound programmed. It sounded like a genuine social reaction from someone who felt their space had been invaded. Millions of people watched that clip and could not wrap their heads around what they were seeing. Here is a way to think about it. Picture yourself walking through an art gallery and spotting a portrait that looks too detailed to be painted. You step closer. You tilt your head. You search for evidence of a brush. That is exactly the reaction Jia Jia triggered in people back in 2016. She made them lean in and question their own eyes. And remember, this was a decade ago. The robots, music, climbing higher on this list make her look like an early prototype, which is exactly what she was. Jia Jia was never manufactured at scale. No store ever stocked her on a shelf. She existed as a proof of concept, music, a bold statement about what could be achieved. If you search today, you might find resellers quoting her at around $30,000 music, but she was never officially sold. Her true worth had nothing to do with money. She lit the fuse. Engineers and robotics firms across China, music, studied what that one university team had accomplished and realized something powerful. If a small academic group could reach this level with limited resources, the ceiling was nowhere in sight. Jia Jia set the standard. She posed the question of how close a machine could get to passing as human. And the Chinese robotics industry spent the next 10 years chasing that question. Their answers would end up being far more surprising than anyone predicted. But the first major answer did not come from a university. It came from a factory that decided to build people from scratch. 4. When you picture a factory in China, you probably think of assembly lines stamping out phones or cars or furniture. This particular factory in the city of Dalian builds something else entirely. The company is called X-Robots, and their entire purpose is to manufacture the most physically convincing humanoid androids on Earth. This is where China's 92% human claim starts to feel less like a headline and more like a physical reality you can walk up and touch. They operate a full production facility alongside a public showroom where anyone can walk in and stand inches from what they have built. Around 2023 and 2024, videos filmed inside that facility flooded social media and collected Music, tens of millions of views. Viewers would pause the footage, zoom into the faces, and hunt for any clue that what they were looking at was manufactured. Most of them could not find one. The craftsmanship goes to a level that is hard to talk about without sounding like you are describing a real body. The silicone skin features details you would only notice if your face was very close to another person. Tiny freckles scattered across the surface, small moles, the faint shadow of veins sitting just under the skin, real human hair, not glued on in strips, but individually implanted one strand at a time. The eyes are designed to hold the same kind of natural moisture that a living eye carries. Not music, shiny like a doll, not dull like a mannequin. They look wet and alive. Music. And then there is the detail that catches almost everyone off guard. These androids breathe. Their chests gently rise and fall. Their skin is warmed to a temperature that matches a real human body. When you stand beside one, your brain does not fire off a warning. It does not classify what it sees as a machine. It registers something far more puzzling. To grasp why this matters, consider how your brain sorts the world. Music. Every second, it is rapidly categorizing everything around you. Chair, dog, person. But when it encounters something that looks human, sounds human, and radiates body heat, music, yet is missing some tiny invisible cue, it cannot file it cleanly. That moment of confusion is what makes people freeze and stare. It is what turns a factory tour video into a viral sensation. Building a single android takes 2 to 4 weeks of entirely manual labor. Each one is built to order according to a specific request, a certain appearance, a particular role, a detailed physical specification. That kind of hand-built quality carries a massive price. Top-tier custom units from X-Robots reach $275,000 each. That is more than a house in many parts of the world. But clients pay it because what they receive has never existed before in human history. And these are not sitting in glass cases. X-Robots androids are already stationed in retail shops, medical buildings, music, and government lobbies across China. Ordinary citizens approach them, ask questions, and carry on with their day. The vast majority never suspect a thing. This factory proved that the 92% human benchmark was not theoretical. It was real, and it was already deployed. But while X-Robots targeted large institutions with deep pockets, another company decided to flip the script entirely and bring this technology to everyday people. 3. Noetic Robotics, a Beijing-based company, music, carved out a completely different lane for itself. Instead of chasing the most expensive, most elaborate android possible, they asked a simpler question. What if regular people could actually buy one? In late 2025, they released a compact companion robot called Boomy at a price of 9,988 yuan, which converts to about $1,380. That number alone became international news. It forced people everywhere to reckon with the fact that China was not just building human-like robots for the ultra-wealthy. They were figuring out how to make them affordable. Then, in May of 2026, Noetic Robotics unveiled the model that really turned heads. It is a female robot built from the bust-up shoulders, chest, face, and voice. No legs, no walking, just the parts that matter most for human connection. And the reasoning behind that choice is brilliant. Music, when you stop to think about it. Almost all of the emotional information we read from another person comes from the shoulders up. It lives in the eyes. It lives in the mouth. It lives in the 1,000 tiny shifts someone's expression makes while they are listening to you speak. So, instead of spending years trying to build a robot that walks across a room, they poured everything into nailing that central experience. Consider a video call with someone you love. You cannot see their hands. Music. You cannot see their legs. But you still feel close to them because their face is right there on the screen, reacting in real time. Now, picture that face not trapped behind glass, but sitting across from you on a desk. Looking back at you, music, responding to your tone and your words as you speak. That is what Noetic Robotics created. The result is a robot with a face that can carry a real conversation. She reads the emotional texture of what you are saying and adjusts her expression to match. She does not feel like a menu system wearing music, a face. She engages. She reacts. She has presence. This model is priced at 99,900 yuan. Music, roughly $13,800. At their public exhibitions in Beijing, the full range of their lineup, spanning from $5,500 to $41,600, sold out entirely. Who was buying them? Not just gadget collectors. Care facilities purchased units. Businesses purchased units. Private individuals looking for something more meaningful than a chatbot on a phone purchased units. Noetic Robotics understood something that a lot of the industry missed. The most important part of a humanoid robot is not mobility. It is the face. When you get the face right, everything about how a person responds to the machine in front of them changes. This was a turning point. Instead of building a robot that fetches things or carries boxes, they built one that sits with you and makes the room feel less empty. The fact that care homes are investing in them tells you exactly where this is heading. But while Noetic Robotics was rethinking what to build, the next robot on our list was rethinking how real a face could actually look, and the internet was not ready for what it saw. 2. Late in 2025, music, a video clip started circulating that set comment sections on fire. People watched it and refused to believe what they were seeing was mechanical. Music. Some insisted it was a person in makeup. Others called it a digital effect. A few decided it had to be an actor pulling a prank. The company behind it, based in Shenzhen, was forced Music to publish a second video showing the internal skeleton and wiring underneath the face, just to Music prove that no human being was involved. The robot is named Xuan, and the entire reason the internet comes down to one component, her face. Inside Music, that face are more than 30 precision motors operating in real time. These are not cycling through a handful of preset emotions. They are generating the complete spectrum of human facial expression: happiness, bewilderment, gentle doubt, music, the subtle tightening around the eyes when someone hears something unexpected. The transition, music, a face makes in the fraction of a second between hearing words and forming a reply. Her eyes are just as active. When you talk, they find you. When movement happens off to the side, she notices. All of it is synced to her speech, so her face moves the way a real face moves mid-conversation. No delay, no reset between sentences, no mechanical pause. It flows. To appreciate the scale of this, think about what actually goes into a genuine smile. It is not just your mouth corners lifting. The skin around your eyes crinkles. Your cheeks shift. The entire shape of your face changes in ways you never think about, but instantly notice when they are Music absent. That is exactly why forced smiles look hollow. Your brain catches the missing pieces in a flash. Now imagine a robot that does not leave Music those pieces out. Not a simplified version of a smile, the whole thing. That is what those 30 motors make possible. Xuan was designed for busy service settings, and she is not sitting in a lab waiting for tests. By early 2026, she was already working as a receptionist in over 200 locations across China. Music, hotels, corporate buildings, government offices, music, venues that see thousands of visitors every day. Every one of those visitors walks up, interacts with her, and moves on with their routine. When pre-orders opened on one of China's biggest retail platforms, the response crushed the supply. People had to place a deposit of about $450 just Music to get on the waiting list. At $25,000 to $30,000 per unit, nobody is buying her on impulse. But companies are lining up anyway because what she delivers is worth every cent. Xuan proved that a robot's face could cross the line from impressive to indistinguishable. But there is one more robot on this list, and she does not just look the part. She feels the part. What she does with her body, her temperature, and her movement is something nobody has ever seen. Music, a machine pull off before. 1. In February of 2026, a company called DroidUp stepped onto a stage at a tech conference in Shanghai, and Music showed the world something it had never seen. They called her Moya, and they described her as the first fully biomimetic music humanoid ever built. Biomimetic means engineered to mirror biology, to mirror life. But after watching what Moya does, even that description feels like it undersells her. Begin with music, her skin. It is soft silicone formulated to look and feel like a real human body when you touch it. But the feature that truly throws people off, music, is the warmth. Her skin is held at a steady temperature between 89 degrees and 96 degrees Fahrenheit. That is the actual range of a living human. When you shake her hand or brush her arm, your brain gets zero feedback that something is wrong. It does not flag her as artificial. It processes her as a person. She breathes. Her chest rises and falls, not in a stiff robotic pattern, but in the same quiet, irregular rhythm a real person, music, has when they are just sitting near you. If you were not actively watching for it, you would miss it entirely. That is the whole idea. Her eyes follow your gaze. Move around the room, and they track you. Look away, and she registers. Music, the change. Her pupils react to light and focus the way living pupils do. This is not a software animation layered on top. It is a physical response engineered into her eye structure. Her face produces what engineers refer to as music, micro-expressions. Those are the rapid, barely visible flashes of feeling that cross a person's face in under a second. The small tension that appears before someone says something hard. The way a smile builds in stages rather than appearing all at once. Your brain reads these signals constantly from everyone around you. Moya generates music, them. So, when you are talking to her, your brain is not getting the usual alerts that something is wrong. It is getting the same signals it receives from a living human. Her movement is where things get truly remarkable. Real human motion is not perfectly fluid. We shift our weight in small ways. We pause mid-gesture. Music, we carry ourselves with an organic irregularity that no machine has ever captured before. Moya is programmed to include all of that. She does not move like a robot. She moves like a person who is simply existing. Think about watching a character walk in an animated film. Even in the music most expensive productions, something about the movement reads as too clean. The steps are too measured. The timing is too exact. Your brain feels it even if you cannot explain. Music, it. Real people walk with tiny imperfections. We hesitate. We adjust. Music. We are messy in ways that are impossible to describe, but effortless to sense. Moya has that messiness built in. She does not move to impress. She moves to seem alive. Driodup launched her in Shanghai at 2 million yuan, about $173,000. That places her firmly in the territory of institutions, research groups, music, and high-end commercial buyers. But her importance is not about who can write the check. She is the most complete response yet, music, to the question Jia Jia raised in 2016. How close can a machine get to being human? And the answer, based on everything Moya demonstrates, is closer than most people are prepared to accept. Music, China, is not the only nation building humanoid robots. But when you place what the rest of the world has produced, music, next to what we just walked through, the difference is stark. Sophia, built by Hanson Robotics, became a global celebrity and even received citizenship from Saudi Music Arabia in 2017. But her face is built on a rigid frame with visible mechanics. Her expressions, while groundbreaking at the time, still look manufactured. A mecha from the United Kingdom is technically impressive and has gone viral repeatedly. But she is intentionally gray and mechanical, music, in appearance. She is designed to fascinate, not to pass as human. Nadine, from Singapore, comes closer. She can recognize people she has met and recall past conversations. She has worked in real customer service, music, roles. But even she does not reach the level of physical realism that Droid Up, the Shenzhen team behind Xuan, Music, and the X-Robots factory are achieving. Western developers have generally chosen to build robots that are openly artificial but highly capable. The message, music, is, we will be honest about what this is, and we will make it as smart and expressive as possible, music, within that boundary. The Chinese companies on this list took the opposite stance. They are not just chasing capability, they are chasing seamlessness. They want a robot that your brain does not even think to question. Neither direction is wrong. Music. They are approaching the same challenge from opposite sides. But when it comes to sheer physical realism, the distance between what these 5 Chinese robots demonstrate and what the rest of the world currently offers is large enough that the entire global robotics industry, music, is watching very carefully. And that gap is exactly what the 92% human headline is really about. If this video got you thinking, go ahead and hit the like button. It genuinely helps more than you know. And it tells us you want more content like this. Subscribe, music, and turn on notifications so you are first in line when we drop the next one. We have got more videos coming on the technology that is already quietly changing everything around us. Music, before you go, leave a comment and tell us if you walked up to one of these robots without knowing what it was. Do you honestly think you would figure it out? We will see you in the next one.